Matthew Lindsay here with Southside Strength and Fitness. Hey, we're coming to you guys to bring you more informational videos. We just finished up and wrapped up a series on how to properly spot somebody with one person, with two person, on the bench, on the dead, in the squat. So today what we wanted to do is go over different types of bars. I'm standing here next to our gun rack full of multiple different types of bars. We're also going to be going over to our upright barbell storage rack, and then also a couple specialty bars as well. So there's lots of different types of barbells throughout the gym. The three main ones you guys are going to see are going to be our Texas Strength barbells. They're the traditional barbells right here in front of me. We got three of them right here. And from afar, or someone new to the gym, they all look the same. However, there is some major differences between them all, and they're all used for something different. So we wanted to go over that to, again, provide you some more information. Now, we'll show you a little bit of footage here in a second. If you look at the end of each one of these bars, it's actually going to tell you what it's for. We have a deadlift bar, we have a squat bar, and we have something called a power bar. And we'll go over the differences now. So this big one, right here, the top one, the longest one, it's going to be the longest one in total length. And it's also going to have the longest collar on here. It's going to be a squat bar. The other thing about this is going to be the thickest bar there is. So it's going to be the thickest bar, it's going to be the longest bar, and this one is actually a 55-pound bar. It's actually 10 pounds heavier than the rest of the bars, which are going to be normally 45 pounds. The other thing that's going to be different about this one is what we call the knurling, and that's the textured grip that's actually imprinted into the bar. And what you're going to have is a really wide knurling in the middle of the bar, which is really nice because when I come down for that squat, it's going to sit down in my shoulders, it's going to grip my shirt or whatever I'm wearing, and it's really going to give me a lot of grip to hold that bar in place. It's also going to have the widest knurling throughout the bar as well. So again, this is going to be a 55-pound bar. It's the longest one, it's the thickest one, and it's also going to be the most sturdy, which means it doesn't have much flex to it. So when you're loaded up heavy for squats and you're coming up, it's not gonna bow on you, it's not gonna whip on you, and it's gonna keep you nice and tight. The next bar down that we have is actually the skinniest bar. Now this isn't as long as the squat bar, but it is longer than our power bar. It's also got a good sized collar length, a little bit longer than our power bar. And this is the skinniest bar because it has the most whip in it. This is made for deadlifting. So when I'm coming down for a deadlift and I'm pulling that slack out, it's gonna give me a little bit more of a whip in there so that when I'm coming up, it's gonna allow the weights to actually do their thing. It's gonna allow me to get into the proper form, if you will, and allow for that weight to come up a little bit easier there. So that's gonna be the deadlift. On the knurling on the deadlift bar, we don't have any in the middle, because when you're gripping the deadlift bar, you're out here, shoulder length apart, you're grabbing on the outside of your legs, or maybe you're doing sumo, it's on the inside. But again, we have no knurling in the middle. A couple extra things about the deadlift bar here. This is only for deadlifting. So when you see people using this bar, maybe in the bench, maybe in other types of lifts, maybe a squat, pull them aside, let them know, educate them on that. It's not made for that, and will actually bend the bar when you use it for things it's not supposed to, especially if you see people using them for rack pulls. The last bar we have here for the Texas Strength series is going to be the power bar. You got knurling in the middle. It's going to be the shortest bar over length. It's still got a decent collar, but it is the shortest collar on here. Again, this is a 45-pound bar, just like the deadlift bar. And this is great for all of our different presses. You'll see people use this all the time for the bench press, overhead press, accessory work. See people curling with it and doing all kinds of different lifts with it, back rows, all that kind of stuff. So it's a good all-around bar. Again, it's a 45-pound bar. It's going to be the shortest one in length. And again, you can look at the ends here and see what they're labeled as. So those are going to be our three main bars you guys see throughout the gym. We have different versions of them, different brands of them, but the deadlift, the squat, and the power bar are going to be the three main types. Now we do have some specialty bars. We have several of them throughout the gym. If you don't have any idea what they're used for, definitely just ask. Ask the front desk, ask the more experienced lifters. They'll be able to tell you, give you some more insight, make sure that you know what you're doing with the right equipment. The next 3 bars we're gonna go to are from Kabuki Strength, okay? They are a custom bar manufacturer for strength sports. They do stuff for strongman, for power lifters, for bodybuilders, for different types of disciplines. The first bar we're gonna talk about is the Duffalo bar. We got it in blue just so that you can see it from across the gym and know where it's at and easily find that in the gym. But the nice thing about this Duffalo bar is this is gonna be so good for those that don't have the best shoulder mobility. You see here, we got this nice curve in the bar, so it can sit down, and it's gonna change the positions of your hands. So when I'm squatting with this, instead of my hands up here, I can actually bring them down a little bit. So it's gonna be much easier on the shoulder. We see people squatting with this. We also see people benching with this. Again, changing that hand placement. So for some of those bigger guys, some of those guys with poor shoulder mobility, it's gonna be a lot easier on them. We're gonna move over to our upright barbell stand here, and we're gonna check out 2 other bars. So what we have here is a Cadillac bar, and you guys have heard of a Swiss bar maybe before. Many different names. This one is from Kabuki. A traditional Swiss bar allows you multiple different grips. All of these are different angles, and it allows you to put your hands in more of a neutral grip when I'm pressing. So again, you'll see people use this for bench press, overhead press, and just different types of lifts. You see people doing rows with these as well. And so it's a very, I guess you can use it for a lot of different things. So it's a very friendly bar to use. And again, if you have questions about it, just ask an experienced lifter. The nice thing about the Kabuki version with the Cadillac bar is it's kind of like the Duffalo bar. You still got that angle. So now I can go deeper on my presses. I can, go below my chest, whereas if I had a straight fixed split, I can only go to my chest. So it definitely gives you the different angles as the other Swiss bars, but it gives you a little bit more with this nice curve that we have in here. So last bar that we're gonna talk about today is another Kabuki bar. Now this is the Kabuki Transformer bar. They actually had a couple different versions, and this is gonna be their latest version. And what Kabuki did is they pretty much put 4 or 5 different bars into one. Now, this is made for squatting, but you can do a lot of other movements with it. This is what you would consider the traditional safety squat bar. And the nice thing about this is that I can tuck in underneath this and put my hands in front of me rather than to my side. So guys, again, with mobility issues, maybe with really tight shoulders, can really use this and protect themselves. You can also hit different parts of your legs and stuff like that. So instead of that squat bar, I'm up back here, I can really come in here, and now my hands are in front of me. And this, again, different comfort level for different people, mobility issues definitely plays into that. And you see a lot of the bigger guys using this. You can also tuck this back further, really high, so there's a lot of different movements that you can do with this. The other beautiful thing about this bar is if you look at this dial here, this bar can do so much. So just from the pull of this button here, I can change the angle for where the weight is. It's actually labeled here. So if I go to this last one, I can do a goblet squat with this. I can do a front squat. I can do your typical safety squat. We can pull this all the way back and do a back squat, do a hinge squat, do some good mornings with them. And the other nice thing about this is these weight sleeves actually pull out, and I can raise or lower these. So depending on what I want to do, and this will put the weight differently on you, so you can change the load, you can change where the load is for you, and all those different things. So there's a lot of different variations you can have with this bar, and you'll see a lot of different lifters use this for different things. So beautiful bar. Again, if you look at this, you're like, I don't even know how to use this, just ask questions. People here at the gym are here to become better, and we want to help those. So ask the front desk, ask the experienced lifters, ask for advice. But those are the 3 Kabuki bars. We have the Cadillac bar that we went over. We have the Transformer bar. We also went over that Duffalo bar, and we'll go over more bars in the future.